Feminist film theory refers to ideas in which genders are portrayed on screen, particularly focusing on the representation of women and the reinforcement of gender equality and equity. One of the most influential works that brought significant attention to feminist films in the 1960s and 70s, making a lasting impact on other areas of film, especially with the study of women as image and the male gaze. Through feminist film theory, artistic stakeholders can critique visual styles reinforcing patriarchal norms, advocating for a more diverse and nuanced representation of female characters. This emphasizes the roles of identity and gender norms in a character's development and how their expectations influence their actions. The following video essay will explore how the two films Barbie and Thelma and Louise can incorporate characteristics of feminist film theory through cinematography and plot. Both films are eligible for feminist film theory analysis as they both have a strong focus on female protagonists and the exploration of gender roles. Exploring the films through this lens reveals the representation of evolving societal attitudes towards gender, even as persistent issues remain. Despite the feminist activism progress made in the 1990s, both films show that similar issues such as misogyny and the constraints imposed by patriarchal society continues to resonate. They highlight how societal expectations surrounding femininity still influence women's identities today. By examining these two films, we can gain insight into the ongoing issues around gender roles, representation of women, and the necessity for continued activism for equality, making both films relevant and impactful in their respective societal times. Barbie is a 2024 film directed by Greta Gerwig. It follows Barbie on a journey of self-discovery as she questions her existence and the confines of her idealized life. The film combines humor and heartfelt moments to confront gender norms and highlights the importance of authenticity and women's empowerment. Through humor, Gerwig challenges traditional gender norms, exploring themes of the male gaze and female empowerment. Jacon notes the film's balance of comedy, emotional intelligence, and cultural relevance, navigating serious themes while maintaining an engaging tone. Thelma and Louise, directed by Ridley Scott in 1991, emerged during a significant period of feminist activism. It follows two best friends on a weekend trip that turns dark when they are confronted by a would-be rapist, leading to a crime in self-defense. As they flee the law, their bond deepens, asserting independence and exploring themes of male gaze and female empowerment in a restrictive society. The film resonates with the struggle for independence and identity in a male-dominated world, serving as both a pioneer of its time and a timeless commentary on gender norms. The male gaze is a feature in both films, portrayed through writing and cinematography. In Barbie, when Barbie encounters a group of construction workers who comment on her outfit,
"Oh, you got fries with that shit? If I said you had a hot body, would you hold it against?"
This can be interpreted as an audible and visual representation of how societal expectation and objectification manifest in interactions between genders. This connects to the feminist film theory's ideas of scopophilia, referring to an aesthetic pleasure derived from looking at an object or person. Barbie's situation represents how women are often viewed and appraised through the lens of male desire and the superficial appreciation that prioritizes aesthetics over personhood. Barbie's visual and audible discomfort serves as a critique of society and how women feel pressure to conform to standards of beauty, echoing the current feminist conversations about the media's representations of women's self-worth. Furthermore, the audience develops sympathy for Barbie, an endearing character who navigates her struggles with sincerity. As she experiences pain and frustration, the audience feels that hurt alongside her, enhancing the emotional resonance of the film, reinforcing the importance of how women's identities are represented and valued in society, encouraging viewers to challenge these norms and advocate for a more authentic representation of women. In Thelma and Louise, the use of cinematography emphasizes the theme of male gaze, employing framing and camera angles that objectify the female characters, highlighting how they are viewed through the male lens. Through the bar scene, Scott uses a wide shot to show the men's dominance in the space, capturing Thelma and Louise's vulnerability in a crowded space, illustrating the isolation and attention they attract from male characters, underscoring the power dynamics at play, and sets the stage for an eventual rebellion against these objectifying forces. This tension is further reinforced when the scene shifts to Harlan's point of view, symbolizing his propriety claim over her, emphasizing that Thelma has less power under the influence of Harlan. This visual choice highlights the extensive control and objectification by Harlan and highlights the other male characters, reflecting cultural norms at the time where many women face significant pressure to conform to societal expectations, limiting self-expression and freedom. This diminished women's autonomy and reinforced traditional roles, which frequently included being submissive to men. Both films critique the male gaze and the objectification of women. When Barbie focuses on the superficiality of beauty standards in today's culture, Thelma and Louise emphasizes on the historical context of women's struggles against patriarchal control and their journey towards empowerment. Another aspect of feminist film theory is its critique of patriarchy and the subversion of gender norms. For this discussion, patriarchy is defined as an ideology that upholds men's systemic dominance over women, justifying male superiority and rejecting equal structures in both public and private spheres of life. This theme is evident in both Barbie and Thelma and Louise, and it is shown through cinematography and symbolism. The film opens with an overhead view of Barbie Land being wrapped in pink and populated by the Barbies, which initially appears to celebrate female empowerment. This overwhelming presence of pink not only represents the idealized world of Barbie, but also highlights the superficiality of these gender norms. However, as the narrative unfolds, this shot emphasizes the hollowness of a seemingly perfect world, as the Kens who are depicted as supporting characters exemplify how gender roles are often limited, with men positioned to reinforce female identities rather than to develop their own. This challenges the notion of male dominance, subverting traditional roles by showing that even in a male-centric space, characters are still bound by societal norms. The overhead shot intertwined with the pink mise-en-scène in Barbie suggests female empowerment but ultimately critiques the lack of depth of gender norms, revealing how men and women are constrained by societal expectations. This aligns with feminist film theory, highlighting the impact of social media in the 21st century and cultural narratives that devalue women's interests when they diverge from patriarchal ideals, thus advocating for a more authentic representation of identity beyond traditional roles. Contrastingly, in Thelma and Louise, director Ridley Scott uses symbolism of materialistic goods to emphasize the deglamorization of femininity and its critique of patriarchy. During the 1990s, the cult of true womanhood defined the ideal woman. Welter states womanly virtue resided in piety, purity, submissiveness, and domesticity. However, Thelma and Louise critiques this statement, presenting a narrative that embraces female resilience and challenges the restrictive definitions of womanhood. In the film, a truck driver exemplifies the objectifying gaze, catcalling Thelma and reinforcing the sexualized view of women in society. By choosing to take his cap, Thelma subverts the power dynamics displayed, symbolizing her powerful transformation and the rejection of patriarchal expectations. For Louise, jewelry signifies a woman's sophistication and elegance. She trades her jewelry and watch for an old man's hat, illustrating the rejection of societal expectations and patriarchy, which signifies the choice to shed the superficial aspects of her identity defined by male approval. Both Thelma and Louise's possession of items traditionally linked to masculinity, embodying a new sense of identity, reflecting their growing criticism of their expectations placed upon them as women. Furthermore, it also symbolizes their desire for freedom from the constraints of the patriarchal gaze, where each item becomes a pillar of their transformation, highlighting their shift from being an object of desire to asserting their own identity. Both films utilize cinematography and symbolism to critique patriarchy, illustrating how societal expectations constrain both men and women. Through their journeys of transformation, these films align with feminist film theory, challenging traditional gender roles and advocating for a more authentic representation of identity, reflecting the broader issues surrounding gender equality and empowerment in society. Furthermore, both films showcases the themes of female empowerment and friendship through each character's journeys that leads to self-discovery and liberation from societal constraints. Female empowerment can be represented in Barbie through its use of mise-en-scène and costuming. Initially, we encounter Barbie dressed as the first Barbie doll made in 1959, symbolizing the origins of a character and traditional femininity. As the film progresses, Barbie's costumes begin to incorporate colors apart from pink, particularly blues, which are traditionally associated with sadness and introspection as she embarks on a journey that challenges her understanding of the world and identity. This shift in color reflects her journey of self-discovery and the complexity of her feelings as she navigates the challenges of identity and societal expectations, aligning with female empowerment as it embodies recognition and progressing one's emotion and envisioning a future filled with possibility, reinforcing the idea that women can define their past in a society that often seeks to confine them. Similarly, Thelma and Louise exemplifies female friendship and empowerment, underscoring the importance of female unity when facing patriarchal oppression. This is represented through the visual similarities and mise-en-scène between Thelma and Louise, where both characters are similar in hair color and accent, strengthening their ideas of sisterhood and female empowerment, underlining the deep bond that transcends female resilience into an enduring bond. Additionally, as the film critiques the glamorization of rape and the degradation of women, it showcases the emotional fallout from such experiences. This narrative highlights the importance of solidarity between women as they navigate these challenges, allowing them to support one another in their darkest moments. Released in the early 1990s, a time of rising awareness concerning women's rights and a growing backlash against sexual violence, making the film's themes more powerful. By depicting the trauma resulting from male aggression, Thelma and Louise underscore the importance of empowerment between women as they navigate these challenges. Overall, both films utilize feminist film theory to provide critique on the respective era of society. It was set in the 21st century versus 1990s America. This is achieved through a variety of technical choices, yet they ultimately reach distinct conclusions regarding women's roles and expectations. Greta portrays a visually vibrant world with the people in it that ultimately juxtaposes the characters' inner struggles with societal norms. Thelma and Louise's world, however, is gritty and raw, exploring women's struggles in a society dominated by men. Barbie works as a feminist film and a nostalgic film due to its iconic characters and the way it challenges ideas of gender patriarchy, whereas Thelma and Louise is a revolutionary film that confronts the realities of female empowerment and friendship, while simultaneously critiquing the male gaze and the commentary on patriarchy.